Part 82. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 811. Chapter 811 is dedicated to showing off. Hearing Xiao Chang'an say this, everyone immediately reacted. Especially the members of the Akatsuki organization. They have all seen Lu Shu's shot. So, I can't say that I remember these moves 100%, but I have a certain impression. Looking at it now, it seems that there are indeed some moves that give them a familiar feeling. Anna's eyes widened and she stammered, that is. Actually, is this God Slayer our president? Xiao Chang'an nodded, with a serious expression. I have a deep memory of the president's moves, and he has also used these chains. Moreover, these realms of time, space, and reincarnation seem to be owned by the president. Even if there are so many masters in the divine tree world, it is impossible to think that they have the same skills and have reached such a top level. Unless he's a member of the guild and has swallowed the fruit of the president, or the president himself. But if the other party is a member of the guild, it can only mean that he has also reached this level under the promotion of the president. This can only show that the strength of the president is even more terrifying. However, I haven't seen such a powerful person in the guild, except for the president. The other members have more or less information, and they can't match the number with the people in the video. So, if you guessed correctly, there is a high probability that this man in black will be our president. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the Xiao organization was shocked. Through the content of the video, they have a deeper understanding of the strength of the president. Not only did they sigh with emotion. Su Qing said in disbelief, no wonder our president is not particularly interested in the things in the ruins of the law god, his strength can kill the second-order true gods, and the things left behind by this ruins are probably only first-order true gods at most. The prodigal son crossed his sword and said, ha ha ha, this is like our president. It is impossible to have people in this world who see the benefits but are indifferent, even if it is the divine tree master. If there is such a performance, it can only mean that these benefits are not touching people's hearts, or rather, our president already has these benefits, so naturally he will not be interested in this. Anna sighed, but because of this, the president is really strong. He is so open-minded with his own strength, not pretending, let alone having other plans, but because of his strength and level, he can truly transcend the world, which is the most admirable and unattainable place. The other members of the wizard gang also showed expressions of disbelief. In other words, the characters in this video are really your president. What kind of organization guild are you? All of them are big guys, and the president can even slaughter gods. It's too awesome, it's unbelievable. This praise made everyone who knew the organization a little embarrassed. Xiao Chang'an explained, I'm just guessing, but I've watched the president's shots a few times, so I feel that the character in this video is very likely to be him. The wizard helped everyone laugh and said, you big guys don't need to be modest, we all know your strength, there is no need to show off the pill specifically. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 812. Chapter 812, Vast Space. If it were someone else who advocated his president like this, most of the others would not believe it. But there is no way. The terrifying strength shown by the core members of the Xiao organization during this period is seen by everyone present. For them, his strength is enough to hold up any signboard in the divine tree world. There is no need for 617 to advocate this god-slaughtering man in black, it is likely to be their president. Not to mention, the wizarding gang has also discovered a very critical problem. That is, even these guild members don't know a lot about their mysterious president, so there are so many speculations. The curiosity of the other divine tree masters present was also aroused. Does this president really have the strength to slaughter the gods? Is that the man in black who slaughtered the gods? Actually, I think this possibility is still there. After all, the strength shown by the president before makes me feel very hypocritical. Although I haven't been able to reach the God strength stage, in my opinion, I'm already very close to a god. At least, now the divine tree master who dares to call himself a demigod, standing in front of our leader, is definitely not qualified to be his enemy. If he dares to make a move, every minute will kill him in seconds. This shows that the strength shown by our president before has reached the level of a pseudo-god. But what I didn't expect was that it turned out that our president didn't show complete strength, and he may have reached the realm of a pseudo-god in other aspects. However, when the strength fully bursts out, he can even kill the gods. Yes. The opponents we encountered before were not worthy of our president to show such cultivation and strength, but now that I think about it, it turned out that our president suppressed his own strength, and he would have the realm of a pseudo-god if he shot casually. If he really made a move, even if it was a second-order true god, he would only be killed. Xiao Chang'an looked excited. The more he analyzed, the brighter his eyes became, and he felt that the identity of this man in black was very likely to be their president. As soon as these words came out, the other members of the Xiao organization couldn't help but gasp. Anna was shocked. So my guild is so outrageous. But it seems normal to think about it. After all, it will grow in my mind, and it is no different from the gods. The prodigal son sword looked at the sword in his hand, was silent for a moment, and muttered, "Oh, this is terrible. If I just rely on the kendo attainments in my hand, I don't know if the year of the monkey Mayu can catch up with the president." What a hair! Su Qing walked to the side of the prodigal son's sword, patted the other party's shoulder, and comforted, "Don't be so pessimistic, you behave well in the guild, be a few more characters, and sweeten your mouth. The president will give you a hair, and then you will be able to catch up with the president's hair." 5.3 You porridge open. The prodigal sword snorted, took a few steps back, and turned his head to ignore the man. Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Meanwhile, everyone put away that pride and complacency. Although their current strength may be very strong in this gray realm, there is still a broader space waiting for them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 813. Chapter 813, The Realm That Mortals Can Reach. Xiao Chang'an looked at the gray sky, stared at this ruins of the Dharma God full of endless opportunities and dreams, and couldn't help but sigh from the bottom of his heart. I originally thought that after this action, we would absorb a lot of fashion knowledge and get infinitely close to the realm of fashion, and maybe the distance between us and the president would be able to get close again. But I didn't expect that the realm of the original president was so unfathomable that he was already able to kill the second-order true god, and we didn't even have the realm strength of the pseudo-god. What's more, the second-order true god doesn't seem to be the apex of this world yet. Since there is a second-order true god, then of course there are third-order, fourth-order, fifth-order, and sixth-order. Even 100 steps are 18 possible. Even the president doesn't dare to say that he is completely invincible. Then we must be humble in our hearts. There is endless room for growth waiting for us to explore, and in the face of the gray world, we must have a cautious attitude, otherwise we may die if we are not careful, especially in the face of the inheritance of the gods. We must be very careful. Judging from the experience of the goddess this time, the president's attitude also directly shows that God is definitely not our friend, but our enemy. God will not treat the divine tree master as a partner. Even if there is really a meaning of closeness, it must have other plans. There is no point in pinning your hopes on others. Only when your own strength is really strong, can you take charge of the gray world. This may also be the fact that the president did not directly let us gain strong strength immediately, but gave the coordinates of these ruins, so that we can grow by exploring and farming dungeons. These enhancements in strength are the most real. Maybe. This is the good intentions of our president. Xiao Chang'an seemed to understand something very crucial. The other members of the Xiao organization, after hearing this, also expressed their approval. They all nodded. Su Qing said, "Well, the president is really a good person. It's better to teach people to fish than to teach people to fish." Anna smiled. "It seems that the president really wants us to become stronger, and we must work hard." The prodigal sword suddenly had a dream in his heart, and roared. "Grow stronger for the rise of the Xiao organization." Everyone was speechless and couldn't help but roll their eyes. This guy. Suddenly, I came to such a secondary school, which made everyone a little uncomfortable. Besides, can you see the occasion? Dark Knight and Yu Suanji glanced at each other, and they couldn't help but gasp. It turns out that the tree bearer has reached such a state. It's horrible. This is the gold content of the first place in the gray world. Hee, now that I think about it, our other divine tree masters are still thinking of competing with the tree cultivators for the first place. Not even qualified. 600. There is only one tree man in the gray world, and the future is all twilight, rain and wind, and the gap is not a little bit. The tree man is now in the realm of a god, and he can also mass produce the ranking boss, but compared to the other guilds, it is really nothing. Dark Knight and Yu Suanji also put away the attitude of the guild leader. If you compare the guild leader to an emperor. So. The tree man is the god given by the king. Located above the sovereign. As the presidents of Dark Knight and Yu Suanji, as well as the bigwigs who used to be in charge of the divine tree world, they know how terrifying the tree people are. That's definitely not a realm that mortals can reach. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 814. Chapter 814, The Tree Man is so powerful. Alas, it turns out that the tree man is so powerful, it is beyond our expectations. Dark Knight recalled all the previous experiences, and couldn't help but smile bitterly in his heart. When he was in charge of the Dark Knight Guild and ranked among the top 3 guilds in the Grey Realm, it seemed that the members of the guild had a conflict with the tree lifter. At that time, the Dark Knight Alliance was extremely domineering, and he felt that he was the first in the world. Even if he was a tree man who had won the first place, Dark Knight was confident to grab this place. But now, I didn't expect that my own people have become members of other people's guilds, and they don't have any power to resist. Thinking back to everything. The thoughts in the hearts of the Dark Knight and the fish mystery are actually similar. When the tree pullers obtained high resources in the early stage, they did not form a guild, but directly challenged the most difficult dungeon. I remember at that time, as long as there was a broadcast of the first kill, it was basically the tree man who didn't run. So, in fact, the progress of the tree man's strategy is ahead of all of us. If we hadn't formed a guild at that time, but had used our own strength to challenge the most difficult dungeons as quickly as possible, and explored the Grey Realm and leveled up as quickly as possible, then maybe the current level might be higher. After all, higher level dungeons often mean resources that lower level dungeons can't match, and the progress of rolling snowballs is completely different. It can only be said that forming a guild is the right path, but it may not be without drawbacks. When you need to devote a lot of attention to developing the guild, it will slow down your own growth progress. And the choice of the tree bearer is completely different. He chose to invest all his resources in himself first, and then form a guild when he reached a certain bottleneck and had reached the realm above everyone, and he didn't have to worry about developing it himself, just screening out the best core members. The most powerful thing about this demon contract is that you first use your own strength to convince the other party, and then use the means of co-optation later to give benefits. It's the equivalent of a slap in the face to a piece of candy. It's completely different from the way traditional guilds recruit talents and then draw cakes to pay salaries. Therefore, the divine tree masters who joined the Tree People Guild thought that their future had bleaked and became slaves of others. But in fact, he has become a more advanced worker and has a brighter future. Under this psychological contrast, the divine tree master, who knows the benefits of the Xiao organization, will be more dedicated to his life, and there will be less conflicts of interest and intrigue in the traditional guild. It is worthy of being a tree man. This kind of means simply admires us. Dark Knight and Yusuanji thought of everything about the Xiao organization, and they couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. The way the Akatsuki organization develops is completely different from other guilds. The members of the King of the Lord are all defeated from the island war. I don't have the heart to resist the tree man. What's more, after the island war was directly fought, he knew more about these people, and there were less miscellaneous people, and it might be that people from other guilds joined here and became mixed. Moreover, if the island war is lost, the demon contract is signed directly, and the other party has no intention of betraying. That's why such a clean guild has been created. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 815. Chapter 815, The Core Members of the Organization. To be honest, Dark Knight and Yusuanji never thought that the guild could still develop like this. Their traditional thinking is to pull people in the Divine Tree Master Forum, and then publicize and give benefits. But this way, completely beyond their comprehension, is simply incredible. However, the Xiao organization, which has developed in this way, is much better than other guilds, and you can rest assured that you can develop the core members of the organization. However, the Dark Knight and the Fish Mystery think about it carefully. I also feel that this kind of guild's development model is not something that others can imitate casually. To achieve the strength of the tree man. No. To be precise, it must reach at least 1/3 of the strength of 273, which should be enough, right? Because you have to defeat all the opponents in the island war, the members who are forced to join this guild are convinced. Secondly, you must also have huge resources. After all, there is nothing to say about the guild benefits of the Xiao organization. This kind of guild benefits are clearly placed here, and any divine tree master will call this kind of guild when they see it. It is simply heaven. Compared to other guilds, it's too good to draw a pie or something. However, could an ordinary divine tree master have such strength, and could he take out so many resources for welfare? Even if there is no such anti-heaven fruit as a reward, but just to co-opt people's hearts and convince people with welfare, it is not something that ordinary divine tree master dares to bear. Even if it is the current resources of Dark Knight, it is not possible to say that the guild that can support the Xiao organization can develop like this. Even if he gave the best resources. Because, the Dark Knight weighed his own fruit, and it seemed that it was far from the fruit of the tree man. After swallowing the fruit, these subordinates will only think about how to use this power to develop themselves strong. But it is difficult to achieve the same shocking effect as the tree man, so that all the guild members feel that they can eat such a fruit. It is simply incredible, like a miracle, bivk. So, Lu Shu's way of developing Xiao Xiao's organization, although his thinking is very special and the effect is very good, but ordinary divine tree masters really can't play it. After thinking about this, Dark Knight and Yusuanji's hearts were relieved, and they didn't regret that they didn't choose this way of development. Because they were not only fledgling at the beginning of the year, even with the current resources, they couldn't do what Lu Shu did. So, I can only sigh that the tree man is worthy of being the first person in the grey world, and in any aspect is not comparable to other divine tree masters. The bonfire banquet will soon be over. Everyone enjoyed the cooking skills of the leader of the Ichiban Xiao organization, had a hearty meal, and then looked at the back of the Dharma God ruins. Xiao Chang'an said in a deep voice, "Everyone should also know how big the gap between us and the president is. In order to keep up with the pace of the Xiao organization, you must become stronger, so there is not much time to rest. Anna, Bayou, and the others all nodded in agreement. The prodigal son said with a smile, "We have explored 4 libraries, and now only the center of the ruins remains. The library in the Holy City has not yet been explored. Next. The eyes of Xiao organization and the others are that Holy City." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 816. Chapter 816, The Sea of Stars. Brothers, our next goal is the Sea of Stars ahead. As long as we attack the Holy City ahead, our strength will be improved like never before. Well, along the way, you are all good at strength. As teammates, we are all in the eyes. This is enough to show that the city in front of the strategy is of extraordinary significance to us, and we can quickly improve our strength. Although we are still a long way from the president, this road has opened this magnificent door for us. We just need to continue to move forward towards this road, and after all, there will be something to gain. Xiao Chang'an looked at the holy city in front of him, and suddenly exerted the temperament of a leader, and shouted loudly, "Captain, when did you become so sick?" The prodigal son blinked his eyes and looked at Xiao Chang'an, who was unusual, and felt a little surprised. "Heh, didn't I learn from you?" Xiao Chang'an sneered. "Well, that's the right smell. Let's be honest." After learning that the big guy who slaughtered the gods might be the president of their Xiao organization, all of them were aroused by a sense of struggle. Struggle? Go for it? The presidents have reached such a high level, and they care for them very much. As members of the guild, what qualifications do they have? After this banquet, of course, it is time to go to the most difficult ruins of the Law God. Around the bonfire, everyone cleaned up the banquet and prepared to leave. Bayou came to Dunbu's front and said politely, "Senior, how is your research now?" While everyone was having fun, only Dum didn't take part much. First, he is older, and playing with these young children seems a little disobedient. Second, on the way to explore the ruins of the Dharma God before, I passed by those libraries, and I got a lot of gains. Dum had a new understanding, of course, stepping up every minute and every second to study. He, of course there is nothing wrong with the old man's opinion, it's all up to you. Besides, magic is just something that can be realized by meditation, and it's the same everywhere you meditate. So, since you are ready to leave, the old man will go forward with you. Dunbu said with a smile, without the slightest scruple. Of course. Everyone discussed the leader of the Xiao organization, and with Dunbu's spiritual power, they naturally heard this conversation. To be honest, it wasn't surprising to him that the president of the Xiao organization had reached such a state. If you say, "This president really has such a strong strength and can create so many strong people in batches," so it is not surprising that the strength realm has reached this level, but it is a reasonable thing. Among all the people present, Dum was the closest to the real Dharma God. So, he knew more about the power of God than anyone in the room, and he knew better how terrible this mysterious president was. And directly in front of that holy city, there seemed to be a good magical aura that attracted them. There is the supreme magic avenue there. Dum was also very interested in this. He doesn't have to get the power inside, but as a magician, he will be curious about everything. So, as for what kind of power is contained in that holy city, Dunbu will naturally be very curious. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 817. That's when all the members of the Grey Realm have received a message. Please pay attention to all the Divine Tree Masters. There are only 7 days left until the time of the Grey Realm invasion. the Divine Tree Master who is still staying in the Grey Realm, return to the Divine Tree Island as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will bear the consequences. Familiar hints reappeared. Xiao Chang'an and the others are preparing to send out the 790 Hare towards the depths of the Dharma God ruins. As a result, I saw this prompt. The prodigal son sword said speechlessly, "Alas, I still want to go to the holy city and improve my strength, but now it seems that I can only rush to the rankings first." Of course, now that he said this, the members of the Xiao organization would no longer refute it. Because last time, the members of the Xiao organization were all on the list. Of course, I won't worry about any suspense on the list again. And when they go to the ruins of the God of Law this time, they will definitely attract very strong monsters to come, and they don't need to worry about whether the points will not be able to go up because of the lack of area to explore. I also have to worry about whether the strength of the monsters in their base will be too strong. But fortunately, Xiao Chang'an and the others have not encountered a god-level enemy in the real sense, so naturally there is no such thing as pulling a god-level monster. And after this period of training, the strength of all of them has reached the half-step Dharma God, and even infinitely close to the realm of the Dharma God, so naturally they will not be afraid to face monsters below the realm of the Dharma God. So, this time, the members of the Xiao organization are aiming to be at the top of the rankings. Now, as a member of the Xiao organization, it would be too embarrassing if you couldn't make the list. Xiao Chang'an stared at the holy city in the distance, his footsteps also stopped, turned his head to look at his teammates behind him, and said, "Now that the Grey Realm invasion is coming, let's end this exploration first. We'll wait until we're ready for this Grey Realm invasion before we can face the challenges ahead. At that time, I believe that I can see you who are more powerful." Good. The other members nodded, and they all agreed. There was a sparkle in their eyes. During this period of time, through the experience of the Dharma God ruins, their strength has been greatly improved, and now they are preparing to find a platform to prove their strength. Therefore, seeing the invasion of the Grey Realm coming this time, the members of the Xiao organization were actually quite excited. Finally, there's a whetstone to see what kind of realm they've reached. Naturally, there's nothing better than a whetstone for the Grey invasion. And there is also a leaderboard for the entire Divine Tree world. Take this opportunity to see how they are different from other Divine Tree Masters. You can also see, what kind of terrifying realm has the legendary Tree Man reached. The prodigal son sword sighed with emotion, "Count the days, we have also been exercising around here for a long time, 5.9 didn't expect that the next Grey Realm invasion has already come." Su Qing smiled, "I don't know. This time, our president will bring in new members through island warfare." Xiao Chang'an said, "The current core members of the Xiao organization have developed, and in the future, only the masters and the president will be interested, and the members below have not actually developed much." Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 818. Chapter 818, Let's Face the Grey Realm Invasion. I have to say that Xiao Chang'an's analysis is actually very reasonable. Because now the core members of the Xiao organization have developed. And the other members have also improved their strength one after another, and they can have a place in the Divine Tree world. It is actually not very practical to spend more resources and promote new members from a very poor level to the same level as Baiyu and the others. After all, Baiyu, Xiao Chang'an and others did not simply rely on the fruits given by Lu Shu to reach this level. In the Dharma God ruins, with their own efforts, they have grown to a very high level of realm. It's all quite hard won. Therefore, even if NA18 joins new members, it should be the same as the next few batches, most of them will become bastards in the guild. When the time comes, the benefits will not be enough. The members who will be recruited in the future should be top figures like Dark Knight and Yu Suanji. After entering the Xiao organization, he can quickly transform into a backbone and act with Xiao Chang'an and others. This group of people should be the new members that the president of the future Xiao organization will focus on absorbing in the Divine Tree Island War. As for that part of the strength is more ordinary. At present, it will not be of much help to the organization. Actually, this idea is indeed true. Then, Lu Shu's idea was just to see if he could form a guild that didn't require him to worry too much about it. Now the results of the experiment have been successful. So, there is no need to absorb too many members, but to move towards the right path, step by step and steadily, and do things that are beneficial to the guild, which is the most correct. Anyway, the Grey Realm invasion is coming. At this stage, it seems that no one has been able to stay in the Grey Realm and come back alive when the Grey Realm invades. Speaking of which, this grey mist is really evil enough. I don't know what will happen here when the grey fog sweeps through the entire Grey Realm, and everyone will die. Not even a single witness. I don't know if our president knows these things. The prodigal son sword sighed. When everyone was said this, they seemed to react. Yes, we don't know, but maybe it will be clear. Maybe with the level that the current president has reached, he may be able to know anything. If you have a chance in the future, you must ask the president to see what he thinks of this matter. The members of the Xiao organization, after such a discussion, have also noticed this matter. I have to say that this is actually a big step forward for the members of the 197 Xiao organization. Because they have begun to focus on some of the basic kernel problems of the Grey world. Being able to think about these things shows that their current experience has reached a certain level, and they have the awareness to explore the deeper reasons for things. Even if this consciousness has just been born. But for the Divine Tree Masters, this kind of consciousness is very important, because it is related to the origin doctrine after the Grey Realm. The ultimate path of all Divine Tree Masters must lead here. Alright. If you don't want to die, hurry up and get ready. Fight the Grey Realm invasion. Xiao Chang'an Road. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 819. Subsequently, Xiao Chang'an left a teleportation array in place. When the Grey invasion is over, you can go back to where you are. Do it all. The members of the Xiao organization left this place one after another with the light of teleportation. Start preparing for the next Grey world invasion. Meanwhile, Lu Shu actually returned to the island. To be precise, he stayed on the island all the time. After killing the goddess, he is now in the limelight, and I am afraid that there are people everywhere in the Grey world who are moving their intelligence news. Of course, Lu Shu is not afraid of leaking his personal information now, no one is his opponent anyway. The key is that after Luo Shui was killed by himself, he really had too many items on his body that were good for the Divine Tree Island. After tossing it like this, when everything is done again, isn't the hint of the Grey world invasion coming? I don't know what kind of cuties will be in the invasion of the Grey realm this time, ready to attack my island. Lu Shu smiled in his heart. Of course, he wouldn't be afraid of the Grey realm invasion now. Unless it is the entire divine domain, send the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals to kill it, Lu Shu feels that he is not afraid. After all, with his current strength, it can only be said that he has reached a very high level, which is enough to laugh at the heroes. At this moment, Lu Qian suddenly popped up a prompt. Ding, your divine tree's current evolution points are enough to upgrade to a primary divine tree. Do you want to upgrade? This hint, for the current Lu Shu, can be said to be like listening to Zional's ears for the time being. His last growth point has reached 1.7 million. To grow into a primary god tree, you need 2 million growth points. After such a long time of hard work. Finally, Lu Shu's divine tree has crossed the stage of the sacred tree, and has truly reached the level of the divine tree. Although it is only a beginner divine tree, this progress is already very fast. Moreover, after reaching the level of the divine tree, it will inevitably bring about qualitative change. Lu Shu is looking forward to what kind of changes will be brought about after the upgrade of the divine tree next. His mind moved slightly, and he immediately chose yes. Next second, the entire divine tree erupted in a burst of bright and dazzling light. At that moment, Lu Shu's divine tree immediately grew into a giant tree that directly crossed the heavens and the earth. It's like connecting the sky and the land. Became the pillar of heaven. All the plants around the sacred tree have been blessed and have begun to grow luxuriantly. Now, if it is a subspecies spirit tree, if it is planted directly, it will not need to wait at all, and the fruit will be condensed. With the current level of Lu Shu, the spiritual power perceives it, and finds that his divine tree personality is directly promoted to the level of a god, with a majestic divinity. It's really shocking. Other mythological relics, after the transformation of the divine tree, also bloomed with light and connected with the divine tree. This moment, the island of Lushu is shrouded in the brilliance of divinity, dazzling and dazzling. Finally, it's time to wait. At this moment, Zhaonyo's, Lu Shu's mood is also excited. A panel popped up in front of him. Sacred tree. Stage, elementary divine tree. Sunlight, 10010/day, 100.1x100. Aura, 10040/day, 100.4x100. Products, divine power fruit, divine domain exercise fruit, donkey fruit. Growth point, 2,201.4x100 20140/day. Next stage, intermediate divine tree, 10 million growth points. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 820. Chapter 820, one of the exclusive benefits of the Xiao organization. Now, Lu Shu's divine tree has reached a very high level. It should be said that it is leading the entire divine tree world. I don't know what kind of accidents and surprises the god-level divine tree can bring to me. Lu Shu's heart was full of anticipation. Divine power fruit. This is definitely a god-level fruit. Swallow it, it must work very well. But how good it is, we have to see how effective it is when it is swallowed. There are still 7 days left until the end of the production cycle. 167, that is. Lu Shu only needs to wait for about 7 days before the next Grey Realm invasion arrives, and he can directly obtain this fruit. Strengthen yourself. Although the current Grey Realm invasion can no longer pose any huge threat to Lu Shu, after the ability is improved, he will have more confidence in himself. For the next 7 days, the strength of all kinds of pets has also been improved. Right now, most of the pets have reached the level of the sage, and can summon a realm, with a strong Biot effect. But to reach the stage of Lu Shu, these pets have not received good resources for the time being, so the speed is relatively slow. Open the guild panel. It's getting lively. Due to the imminent invasion of the Grey Realm, most of the members have already returned to their islands. The days suddenly became leisurely and boring. At this time, the group chat is very active. Everyone ran to the public screen, discussing the recent situation. The recent invasion of the Grey World, I don't know which big guys can be on the list. Ha ha ha, of course there is a share of Uncle Ben. Wow, there are a lot of strong people in this guild, the Night Boss and the Fish Mystery Boss, they are all here. There are other bigwigs, the last list has reached a very high level, this time I don't know what level and stage I can reach. I feel like I've entered a very awesome guild, many people on the leaderboard are here, I never knew that there was such a powerful guild in the Divine Tree world before, but now it's really an eye-opener. That's right, I thought that the Divine Tree world, these so-called top guilds, already had a lot of big guys, but after coming to the Xiao organization, I found that half of the rankings were actually this unknown guild, which really surprised me. The main reason is that our guild is relatively low-key, and our president is not the kind of person who likes to show off, so naturally he is not so famous in the Divine Tree world, and everyone doesn't know that so many big guys belong to our guild. The other grassroots members of the Xiao organization couldn't help but feel very surprised when they saw that there were so many bigwigs in the guild. Meantime, the sense of belonging to the Xiao organization is even stronger. Because, there are many familiar bigwigs in the organization, which will naturally make the members in it have more trust in this guild. This is the benefit of cultivating a big guy on the list. For newcomers, the best way to get to know the members of the guild is to see the members inside, which turn out to be the most famous tasks on the leaderboard. In addition, the most organizational benefits have also become more. Lu Shu's craftsmanship is speechless. Food is also one of the exclusive benefits of the Xiao organization.